Hello, my friends. Jill here in my empowered fitness community for women over 40 looking to get energized, confident, and strong. It's Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we do Q&As. So today I'll be going over all of your burning questions about fitness, nutrition, weight gain, weight loss, menopause, hormones, anything else that you want to discuss. I've got a list of questions that have come up from the newest ladies to join our group. And so welcome if this is your first time joining. I'm Jill and I'm happy to be here. I am somebody who really loves to problem solve, and I love puzzles, and I love meeting new people and getting to know your struggles and taking them on as my own struggles, because that's something that has just been something that I've done from childhood, is kind of putting the weight of the world on my own shoulders. I think a lot of it comes from building my own strength, my own conviction in what you need to do, and feeling that confidence is something that I like to give to others. And I love when others become empowered with knowledge and can then help themselves. So it's really funny. I'll tell you a funny story. One of my old friends, she used to tell me that if somebody ever fell in a ditch, I would not be the person to help them out. I would be the person to stand there and instruct them on what they need to do for themselves. Because to me, it's so much more important to teach somebody how to succeed than to just help them succeed. And so that is a lot of my theories and practice, and how I coach brings that all together. So while I am very caring and I'm loving, and one of my favorite things about being in a business where I can help women personally is that I keep my business, my community small, so that I can also be friends and close with my clients. And that's one reason why I am so excited that 5 of my clients are coming to Florida next week to spend time at my house with me and in a really cool Airbnb on the beach. And I'm really, really excited just to have that bonding time and have time for them to bond with each other and me. And so if that's something that you think is super cool, then hopefully someday you'll become part of our community and become close with the other ladies, and we can do this again. So today I want to start going over some questions. So one of the first questions that came up, Susan had asked me the other day. She messaged me and she said, I see you're talking a lot about this 5-day cleanse. And she was like, I'm really not somebody who likes like juice cleanses. I don't really believe in them. And I was like, oh, this is not a juice cleanse. And so she had asked me, can you just like tell me what this is then? Because it sounds like it gets great results, but I don't know what it is really. And so I wanted to start by going over my 5-day Kickstart cleanse with you. I'm doing it this week. So the reason why I've been inviting a lot of people and talking about it a lot is because I was doing it. And anytime that I'm doing it, I share the food, I share my experience, and it's nice to have other people doing the same, because then we're kind of in the same boat. We're feeling the same things. And so when I'm down like 3 or 4 pounds already this week. And what is it? Is it Wednesday? So I'm 2 days in, 2.5 days at this point. And I can just tell you, I feel so good. I feel energized. I'm sleeping great. And I'll tell you why. Generally, we see somewhere between 3 and 7 pound weight loss in the 5 days. And the reason is that when you eat a more natural, so it's fruits, vegetables, nuts, which you don't have to, if you're allergic to nuts, you don't have to have nuts, grains like quinoa, farro, rice, we make soups. It's just such good whole food, and we eliminate a lot of the junk that we're used to having, any processed foods, dairy, meats, alcohol, sugar substitutes, any of that stuff. That stuff's gone. It's 5 days. But it feels like a ton of food because the food is fibrous and fills you. You're regular, you sleep well. And the reason why all these good things start happening is because when your digestive system gets a chance to relax, which is what happens when you eat really clean. Then your whole nervous system starts to relax too. And what happens when your nervous system relaxes? Good things. Good things happen. You sleep well, you lose weight, your hair, your skin, your nails, everything just reacts so much better. You start to lose inflammation and bloat and all that great stuff just happens. And you start to glow and people notice, and your mood is better too, which is kind of funny. Like, your mood gets better from eating better. And so it's just a really great experience. It feels like a ton of food. It's so weird because you don't get cravings, you don't get hungry, you feel great. And so what you get, hold on, let me take a sip. What you get in the cleanse is basically 3 documents. You get a shopping list, which is super easy. You just print it out or bring it up on your phone, take it to the grocery store. You're gonna save money. It's a lot cheaper than your regular groceries. You get the menu, right? So it's a 5-day menu. It tells you what you're gonna eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. And then it's the recipes. And so it tells you how to make everything, and they're super short. They're all like a sentence or 2. And it makes it super easy for you to easily prepare the food. And I always say, get the thing now, start looking it over, ask me any questions. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't like red peppers. And I'm like, okay, well, substitute this. Ask me about your substitutions. And then over the weekend, you can purchase your food, you can prep your food. And then I always like to go Monday through Friday, right? Because we know what our schedule is. We're generally, kind of set schedules, and, and then it doesn't derail any weekend plans. And by Friday, you should feel amazing. So that is the 5-day Kickstart in a nutshell. I've included the link to Kickstart B, which is the one that I'm doing this week. I think it's $47. You get to keep it forever. I do have 4 menus, A, B, C, and D. I think I do pair Kickstart Cleanse A with my 5-day menopause makeover. So if you've seen me talking about that, I talk about it all the time. I do have the link to that I believe it's in the banner of our Facebook group. And I'm always posting about that. So if you kind of scroll through, or if you want to ask for that link, that one's, that's even cheaper. It's $27 for the menopause makeover, and you get Kickstart A, and you get 5 workouts with that one too, and 5 lessons on menopause. So I would do that one, honestly, but Kickstart B is really good too. So that's it on the Kickstart Cleanse. If you have any other questions on that, by all means, ask me questions, let me know. And if you have any other questions about anything that you want answered, feel free to drop them in the comments, or message me, or email me, or however you want to get in touch. Alrighty, so let's move on to some questions from the ladies out here. So we have Debbie, and when I asked Debbie what's holding her back from getting great results in her fitness and nutrition, she said there's too much different information out there. And yeah, I agree. There's a lot of information, especially if you're looking online, on social media. Everybody's got their own gimmick, their own way of doing things, their own beliefs, and they're going to sell their beliefs really hard, because that's what you got to do. If you want to, sell somebody into your program, you got to really make people think like, this is it. This is the one and only way. And I don't like that. I really don't believe that. And I honestly, instead, I kind of feel like I'm the opposite. I believe that you have to do a little bit of everything, and you kind of have to do different ways, and you have to rotate through different things, because the body gets used to one thing, and you also are going to get bored by one thing. And so it's actually better to have strategy that changes over time. And so what I do with my clients is I periodize the work. And so you can't say to somebody like, the only way to go is no carb or low carb. Because somebody's going to be on the opposite side of the spectrum and be like, well, if you eat meat, you're going to get fat, right? And somebody else is going to be like, you got to eat more protein. And so I believe that most of these theories are all going to work for a certain period of time, right? And so that's why, for instance, my 5-day Kickstart Cleanse, we eliminate the protein, not the protein, but the animal protein out. It gives your body a total change. You still got to get protein, so we're getting it from other sources, but it gives your body that change up. And yeah, if somebody came in and was like, oh, so you never have meat? I'm like, no, it's just 5 days. Like it's a 5-day plan. And then we move on to something different. And so you get a great result from this 5 days, and then you're going to get a new result from something else. And other people are going to be like, no, you got to do the same boring thing forever. So you're always going to hear all these different things. And all you can do is pick a lane, stick with it for as long as you should or are supposed to, or the program calls for, and see it through, and then either continue it if it works or move on to something else and find your rhythm, right? And I was thinking about this in the car today is, you got to find your rhythm of what's working for the season, right? Sometimes it's like seasonally, it's hot out, that kind of season. Sometimes it's seasonally, if you're in your 30s versus in your 40s, that changes things too. And sometimes we're really busy and sometimes we're not as busy. And so again, it's hard when there's so much being thrown at you and you don't know what to do. And that's why it's really nice to have a guide and to have accountability and to have a community. So that's why I think having a coach in something that you want to get better at is really important, and having a coach whose methods you believe in, right? And so I had once joined a vegan community, and I did that for like a week, and I was like, okay, but I can't do this like as the long term, and I could only handle like tofu so often before I was like, okay, once a month is good enough for me. I don't want to do this lifestyle, right? So it wasn't the place for me. I just didn't, it didn't jive with me. So you have to make sure that whoever you're being coached by, that you believe in what they're saying. You believe their way of doing things. And for me, my biggest belief above all is balance, right? Is last night for a little snack, even though I'm on my cleanse, I don't cleanse 100%. I'm like 80, 85, maybe 90. But last night, I grabbed my husband's on a business trip. So I grabbed his little Trader Joe's passion fruit granola out, and I was eating a little bit. I was going to put some almond milk in, but then I said to myself, a scoop of ice cream would taste a lot better with this. And guess what? It was absolutely amazing. And so I had like one spoonful of ice cream and I was rolling it around in this granola, which was actually like the bottom of the bag. So it was just like granola dust. And I didn't feel the least bit bad or guilty. And I woke up and the scale was down even more. And I was like, this is the way to go. Like, balance, it's not about perfection. It's about enjoying yourself when you want to, and, and really just keeping that balance. It'll make you happy and get you to your goals. All right. And so Debbie also had a question. She says, how do I stop weight gain, especially around the middle? And so generally when we're talking in this group of ladies who I talk to, over 40, that weight gain in the middle is generally coming from stress and cortisol. And so one thing, I would say the first thing is to look at your life and say, am I stressed out all the time? And do I need to work on that self-care? Do I need to work on time for me, slowing down? Do I need to evaluate things that are stressing me out in my life and figure out how to find balance, right? And so that's going to be the first thing. The second thing is understanding if everything you're doing that you might think is the right thing, is it actually the right thing? Or are you like totally off base and had no idea? Because if you're not the expert, believe me, there's things that I do wrong about other things. Social media, not the expert, so I'm sure I'm doing something wrong here and there. And, but I think I'm doing good things. And so it's the same thing. So we got to really go over what you're doing. If you think you're doing all the right things and the scale is going in the wrong direction, then more than likely you're probably thinking you're doing the right things, but you might be doing something wrong, right? So again, good to have a coach, good to have eyes on it. If you'd like for me to kind of get eyes on what you're doing, I love that. I love going through what you're eating in the day, what you're doing for workouts. You are totally welcome to set up a free game plan call with me. I give you the link here in this post, and you set it up, and it's like 45 minutes and you and I get to know each other and chat about your goals and chat about your struggles, and I'll learn about your days and how you're doing it and what you think you're doing right, what you're really doing wrong, and then we'll strategize if it feels like a good fit on what to do next. Maybe it's working with me, maybe it's not. That doesn't really matter. What matters is that we're moving you forward in the right direction. Okay? So feel free to schedule a call with me. I would love to have that with you. All right, let's move on. We have, who is this? I missed the name up here. Karen. And Karen says she's dealing with low energy. Her fitness or lack of fitness is holding her back. And Karen also wants to know, how do I burn belly fat? So burning fat is going to come down to, what I would say is how much muscle you have on your body, because muscle is going to burn fat. And so if you're not working out, number one, then we're not building muscle. We're likely losing muscle at this age. If you're not building it, you're losing it, right? And so that's one thing, is we need to make sure you're doing the right fitness. So I would say forget all cardio for now. We want to make sure you're preserving energy if you have low energy, and we need to be building muscle. So we would be focusing on strength training. The other thing is, if you're low energy, is it because you're dehydrated? Are you stressed? Are you not sleeping? Do you have a medical condition? And are you eating enough? Because so many ladies are trying to lose weight by starving themselves, that they're starving themselves and they're starving their body of all their energy. They're starving their muscles, so their muscles are shrinking and shriveling up, and that's just gonna make you more jelly-like. And if you don't have the energy to burn fat, you're not going to burn fat, you're just going to store it. It's just going to sit there. So we have to make sure that all these things are aligned and balanced. And then you're going to start seeing some changes, the positive changes that you want to see. Oh, my computer is dying. Sad. Okay, so let's move on. Sorry if my lighting got bad because my computer's, oh, there we go. I can still turn it up even though my computer's dying. Okay, so how do we burn belly fat? Build muscle, eat right, eat enough, and start there. That's gonna burn fat. I mean, you can't really say like, I wanna burn belly fat. It's gonna be all your fat, right? So you're gonna see your belly get smaller, and you're gonna see more definition in your arms and your legs, and you're gonna probably see your face thin out. People are different. I can't tell you what's gonna go first. When I tend to lose weight, it comes out of my face first, and it goes into my face first when I gain weight. So that's how I tend to know. I look in the mirror, I go, oh, I'm gaining weight, I'm losing weight, and rather than, looking at anything else. Okay, let's look at Rebecca. She says consistency is holding her back in nutrition. She wants to lose weight and have more energy, and she says, how do I keep nutrition consistent but have wiggle room to splurge once in a while? So that's what I'm talking about. You should be able to splurge. You should be able to enjoy things. And maybe we don't even call it splurging. We just consider it eating, And so number one, I believe in framework, right? And so if you don't have any kind of framework, how do you know if you're eating right or eating wrong? And meaning in alignment with your goals or not in alignment with your goals. So if your goal is to lose weight, we need to be eating in alignment with that. But we have to kind of understand what that means. And so generally, losing weight is going to mean a calorie deficit. Okay, so that means eating less calories than your body really requires to maintain and do all its things. That's how you're going to start losing weight. But the problem is, if you do too much of a deficit and you're always in a deficit, then you start to actually break your metabolism. And that's not good either. So we have to have strategy. We have to have some kind of periodizing of when you're maintaining, when you're maybe building, and when you're in that deficit. And that is how you're going to be able to splurge a little more. Maybe in times when you're building, right? So if I'm building muscle, then I say, okay, I'm gonna have an extra piece of pizza. But if I'm in the deficit and I'm trying to cut down on fat, maybe I'm doing my Kickstart cleanse. And in that case, eating a little spoonful of ice cream in a little granola, that's gonna be more of a splurge when I'm on a cut, right? So a splurge on a build is gonna be more pizza and maybe an extra brownie. And although that's not the cleanest way to splurge, right? But still, have the stuff. And if I want to splurge on a time when I'm trying to be more consistently up to the 90 to 100%, which I'm never 100%, then that's going to look a little different. The splurge will look a little different, right? But you also can't splurge like every day of the week. Like if you're like, okay, I'll have a glass of wine once a week, that's fine. Having a glass of wine once a day, not fine. That no longer becomes the exception to the norm. It becomes the norm. And people who are normally having a drink a day are not in weight loss mode, 100%. Women over 40 who are drinking every day, that is not weight loss mode. Sorry, it's not going to help you. It's going to ruin everything. And that's just the laws of nature. Nature's mean, right? Okay. Let's see. We have Katie, who says her lack of motivation is killing her. Katie, do you watch my Motivation Monday videos? I do them every Monday in here, and I try to motivate you, and I say it in different ways every week, and I'll continue to do that. Motivation is not something that we wait for, something that we create, right? So if I have a goal, then I have to take action, and that action is going to create results. And guess what? Results, that's motivating. It creates motivation. So until you start taking action, you can't really expect to feel motivation. And so it's kind of like cheerleading. Like the cheerleaders go out on the field, and whether they feel like cheering or not, they're going to get up and do their cheer because that's their job. So they're told, hey, it's a break. Go do your cheer, right? And then the crowd gets excited. The crowd's not like super excited, so the cheerleaders come out. That's not really how it works. Otherwise, if the team's losing and the stands are quiet, then the cheerleaders would never come out, and then nobody would ever get excited. So we need somebody to get out there and start cheering for you. And I'm happy to cheer for you because I know it's coming and I'm excited. I've seen it over and over again. I'm going to cheer for you. You're going to start taking action. You're going to get excited. You're going to see better results. I'm going to keep cheering for you. And that's the cycle. And you're going to keep getting better and better results until you get to the point where your brain gets it. Oh, I don't wait for feeling good and then I do the work. I do the work. It feels amazing. And then I keep doing it and I keep getting better and better results. That makes sense? I kind of need like hearts and thumbs up for that one. Okay. Okay. And Katie had a question. She says, I suffer from thyroid disease. How does this affect my weight gain? And so, yeah, thyroid disease is like kind of one of those unlucky nature things too. And so thyroid disease comes in two forms. You can be hypothyroid, which means that your thyroid is underactive. And your thyroid, for those of you who don't know and don't have a thyroid condition, I've learned a lot about it because my dog has a thyroid condition. So your thyroid is kind of like your body's thermostat and affects your metabolism. And so if your thyroid is underactive, then you might experience lethargy. So you're tired. My dog was so tired. We started calling him like old buddy. Like he would just lay there and he was getting fatter and he was just like lethargic all the time. And you might see fluid retention and constipation, and weight loss gets harder. And you might gain weight. And then we got Buddy checked out. We're like, what's going on with Buddy? He's always so tired. And they tested him and he had hypothyroidism. And so they put him on medication. And then it was like the opposite way. It was too much medication. So they found the medication amount that was right for Buddy. This guy's 9 years old. He is like a puppy again. He is like a new dog. And we're like, he lost weight. He's like excited now. He's going on walks. And so what a change. And then also his coat got thinner, or not thinner, but like softer. And we're like, wow, that's crazy how a medication can help when you have a condition like this. So hyperthyroidism means that your thyroid is overactive. So you might have a really fast metabolism, you might lose weight, but with weight loss, you might also see muscle loss, you might see anxiety, you might have, other issues. And so again, we need to, number one, find correction, and that's something you talk to your doctor about, but then also we need to figure out what's going to work for you. And so it might take a little more work. It might mean that, you can't just go out for pizza and beer like your friends who don't have hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. You might have to be a little bit more cognizant of what you're doing. I always felt like when I was growing up in high school, I was like, there has got to be something wrong with my body. Like, I always said my metabolism must be broken. There's something wrong because all these girls can eat French fries and pizza and burgers and not gain weight. And I'm over at the salad bar literally every day, like wondering like how many croutons I should actually have in my salad. And I was always struggling with my weight. And I was like, there's just something funky going on. There was never anything funky going on with my body. It was just what my body did. And so we have to figure out not only if you have a thyroid issue, but for everybody. We just don't all function the same, and our bodies react differently. I mean, you know that none of us look the same. So our bodies react differently and they work differently. And so we need to do different things. And sometimes it takes testing different things to see what works for you. And sometimes it just means, testing things and continuing to be diligent and more diligent than others if you are just somebody who's not quite as lucky. And so that's it on the thyroid issues. If anybody else has a question that you want me to answer immediately while we're live here, I'm happy to. I'll send this out in email today. I haven't sent an email in quite a while. We were on vacation in Hawaii for 2 weeks. And so, but I will get that going. I've got a lot of fun stuff coming up on all my social media. And of course, you're all welcome to join us in the Empowered Fitness Mastery Program. That's my coaching program where I work with you on your fitness, nutrition, all the hormone stuff, all the different issues that come up. Keep you accountable, keep you consistent, and be your cheerleader so that you can get amazing results. And join us someday on our next Jill Ortiz Fitness Retreat. So you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. Reach out to me if you need anything. Book a call with me if you've never had one, and I look forward to chatting with you more. I'll see you back here Monday for Monday Motivation. I'll see you back here Wednesday for our next Wednesday Q&A. And stay healthy and strong, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.